At least one odds maker has Alabama coach KALEN DEBOER leaving the program to go coach Penn State. And Lincoln Riley's odds for a move to Happy Valley are on the rise as well. This is crazy, right? But then again, why is Penn State not named a head coach yet? Let's explore. Locked on Big Ten starts right now.
You are Locked On Big Ten, your daily podcast on the Big Ten Conference. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Big Ten. I'm Craig Shemon, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Now, the #1 sports podcast network. Thanks for making us your first listen each and every day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Hey, hit that free subscribe button down below while you're watching, and that way you'll never miss a single episode. And you can share, like, and follow, and hype YouTube videos as well. Today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use the code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. So, Penn State, the next coach, is it going to make a splash? Who is it? Michigan State has a new coach. UCLA has a new coach. We'll talk about it all here, and we'll have our Tuesday tweets at the end of the program. But as of the taping of this podcast, Penn State has not hired a football coach to replace James Franklin. Does anyone else think that's strange? I do. I mean, there's a buzz that they're holding off, wanting to make some sort of big splash, maybe thinking outside the box. Maybe an announcement will come any day. But names like KALEN DEBOER from Alabama and Lincoln Riley at USC are popping up. And the reason I find all this secrecy strange is, Penn State had a jump start on this coaching opening, right? Because it fired Franklin so early in the process. Now, all of a sudden, it seems like Penn State's in last place. Everybody else is signing coaches. And guess what? Signing day for high school players, it starts tomorrow. With no head coach, that's tough. That's crazy. Even James Franklin, he's got a new job at Virginia Tech. He's had one for weeks. What's Penn State doing? Probably going to explore this particular topic a little more tomorrow. But for today, why did KALEN DEBOER's name come up over the holiday weekend and create such a buzz? After all, every dayers here to this podcast know I'm a firm believer that where there's smoke, there's some fire. So we always like to explore and try and find out where the fire is. So let's see where the smoke is coming from. Over the weekend, Athlon Sports published a piece that a futures market group called Kalshi, it listed DeBoer as the current front runner for the Penn State job. Then Newsweek picked up the story, and then now it's everywhere. Even Nittany Lions sites are saying he's one of the final 3 candidates, the Alabama coach. So what is Kalshi? Well, it's a federally regulated prediction market where users can trade event contracts based on the likelihood of future events happening. It allows trading for a wide range of events. You can say they're going to happen or not going to happen, from pop culture to politics to sports. Now, keep in mind that this was all happening while DeBoer was busy coaching Alabama in the Iron Bowl against his arch rival Auburn, biggest game of the year. A game he won, by the way, and now he's got an even bigger game of the year. He's going to go take on Georgia in the SEC championship game on Saturday. And then an expected playoff run to follow after that. Plus, he has an $87 million contract with a $70 million buyout. He would have to pay $4 million to get out of it to go elsewhere, by the way. I think another school wanted him badly enough, they'd pay the $4 million. Now, let me state right here. In my strongest opinion, DeBoer's not going anywhere. He's not. However, I did hear from one source, one that I trusted, that the reason that Lane Kiffin delayed his announcement that he was leaving Ole Miss to go to LSU. Remember, they had the Egg Bowl on Friday. He was going to make his announcement on Saturday, I guess after watching his kids' game on Friday. He was going to make an announcement on Saturday. Didn't make the announcement till Saturday. The reason, allegedly, was because he was waiting to see what happened in the Iron Bowl. Because apparently, according to the story, Lane Kiffin thought or heard that if Alabama lost the Iron Bowl, the KALEN DEBOER would be out. And Lane Kiffin really wants the Alabama job, or wanted the Alabama job, even more so than LSU, even more so than Florida, the other schools involved in all this. That's interesting. It's interesting. So maybe KALEN DEBOER's people were talking to Penn State. Maybe that's why this all shot up there. Is that why Lane Kiffin delayed his announcement by a day? It's interesting. It's interesting. So, I mean, what did I say? Where there's smoke, there's fire, right? And, the same agent is handling all these coaches, orchestrating everybody's careers. So they're all in the know with what's going on with everybody else. So regarding these odds at KALEN DEBOER was the top, 29% chance that he would leave Alabama and go to Penn State. Bob Chesney was next at 19%, the James Madison coach, but he's going to sign with UCLA. So we'll have a little bit more on that later. There's Kalani Sitake, the coach at BYU. Got like a 20% chance. That's interesting, but I really don't see it happening. Terry Smith, the interim coach at Penn State, a 15% chance. They did play really well over the last month of the season. Is he going to end up getting the job? And is that the reason Penn State hasn't hired anybody yet? Is that the reason that they don't need to make an announcement before signing day? They got the guy. I don't know. Lincoln Riley is creeping up. It's not 0. It's up to 13%. I say there's no way he's leaving USC to go to Penn State. I put that at 0% in my odds making. How about that? Okay. Brian Daboll is on the list, former New York Giant coach. I actually find that one interesting. I do. But the bulk of his career has been in the NFL. Other names have popped up over the last several weeks. Eli Drinkwitz at Missouri, Joe Brady, the Bills offensive coordinator with college experience, Brian Hartline at Ohio State. Heard that one for a long time. We'll get into more on Hartline in a moment as well. Now, you can look at these Kalshi odds, futures events odds, or you can look at the Vegas aggregate odds. Now, at the top of that list right now, Kalani Sitake, 7-4, plus 175. Now, he's coaching BYU into a Big 12 championship game versus Texas Tech. And other than one season as a member of the Cincinnati Bengals practice squad, he's never been east of the Mississippi. I don't see it as a fit. But right now, Vegas says he's the odds-on favorite. Go figure. As of yesterday, Bob Chesney was 3-1. But he's going to UCLA. Maybe he was leveraging people. I don't know. Brian Daboll coming in at 7-2 or plus 350. Again, mostly NFL experience. However, he was the offensive coordinator under Nick Saban at Alabama in 2017. Coaching rehab, right? You need a job, you go there, and your career launches again. Josh Heupel at Tennessee, 6-1. Here's what I think happened here. I think Penn State maybe called, maybe they didn't. Maybe Heupel's agent entertained it for some leverage. But Heupel on Monday said, "Look, man, no, I'm not going to Penn State." And then he slapped Penn State. Said, I don't want to lower my expectations by going to Penn State. I'm good here at Tennessee. So he seems out. Vegas with a miss there. Jeff Brom is on the list at 15-2 plus 750. I don't know if he's staying at Louisville. And that's his alma mater, unless he thinks he's taken them as far as he can go, although he's in an easy conference. He did turn Purdue around a little bit. He could do that. Terry Smith, the interim, is at 9-1 odds. Former player, now interim coach. Again, they played well. Brian Hartline, 10-1, the Ohio State offensive coordinator. Known for bringing in great wide receiver year after year after year at Ohio State. That's the one thing that Penn State has never been good at, bringing in elite wide receivers. That'd be a nice get, I think, if they could get Brian Hartline. Manny Diaz is also 10-1. Their former defensive coordinator. Is he happy at Duke? Can he go as far? Look, 7-5 Duke at the ACC championship game. He's got head coaching experience at Miami. KALEN DEBOER on the Vegas odds 14-1. Lincoln Riley 16-1. But look, no matter what the odds are, who it's going to be ultimately, Penn State better hurry up. Michigan State's getting Pat Fitzgerald. We're going to talk about that in the next segment. To replace Jonathan Smith. Bob Chesney's going to UCLA. 5 SEC programs have already named new head coaches at Florida, Arkansas, Auburn, LSU, Ole Miss. We're running out of people. What's Penn State doing? Again, with signing day tomorrow, James Franklin is among those flipping recruits from Penn State. Former four-star quarterback Troy Hune, he committed to Franklin at Penn State and then decommitted when Franklin got fired. And now he's committed to play for Franklin at Virginia Tech with his new gig there. There's going to be a lot more of that going on, and there has been. We've talked about other players, too, flipping as well. Franklin's calling them all up. He's got them all on speed dial. Penn State fan, what do you think about this? I mean, is there fire with this smoke? Or is KALEN DEBOER just going to turn this into leverage with Alabama? Let me know. Hit me up in the comments section. I would love to hear from you on this. I'm aghast that Penn State hasn't made a move yet as we sit here right now. Hey, be sure to hit that free subscribe button down below. That way you'll never miss a single episode. And you can share, follow, and like Locked On Big Ten. Don't forget, we have a website, talkbig10.com. You can go there for all of our podcasts. Go back for a second listen on yesterday's recap of the Big Ten weekend, plus our top 10 observations from the weekend in the Big Ten. And there are also links where you can click on your favorite school logo, shopping store right there for the holidays. Get your team logos on the shirts, pennants, hats, coffee mugs, all into great stocking stuffers, all that stuff right there. TalkBig10.com. Check it out. All right, as we alluded to already, and we will get into a little bit more, Michigan State has a new football coach. They're going to lose a wide receiver, though. The kids are hitting the transfer portal already. UCLA has a new coach. Plus, we'll have our Tuesday tweets. All that's coming up here in 1 minute right here on Locked On Big Ten. The holidays always feel a little easier when you already know the perfect gift for someone, and Omaha Steaks makes it almost too simple. Whether you're treating yourself this season or sending something memorable to family and friends, Omaha Steaks delivers handcrafted perfection right to their door. And like I said, you can get it for yourself too. It's pretty good. It's fabulous. This is the best time of year to jump in. They got their cyber sale here. These deals are humongous. You get quality that you always expect, the incredibly tender steaks, rich flavor, meals that make hosting or the weeknight cooking even easier. The variety, very underrated. We all think of the steaks first. They got those plus burgers, comfort meals, sides, desserts. It's one of those gifts that just truly fits anyone. So here are the big deals. Save big on the unforgettable gifts with Omaha Steaks. Visit omahasteaks.com for a 50% off site-wide deal and an extra 20% off select favorites during their cyber sale. And for an additional $35 off, use the promo code COLLEGE at checkout. That's omahasteaks.com, promo code COLLEGE. Terms apply. See site for more details. omahasteaks.com. Thanks for checking us out here on Locked On Big Ten and making us your first listen each and every day. And thank you for making Locked On the #1 sports podcast network, especially you everydayers out there. Thank you. Hey, if you haven't yet, be sure to hit that free subscribe button down below. Share, follow, and like Locked On Big Ten. We hit 25,000 free subscribers over the weekend. It was fantastic. Don't forget, we have a website, talkbig10.com, where all of our podcasts are, and links to your favorite school merchandise. Is your favorite school Michigan State? You got a new football coach, Pat Fitzgerald. The former Northwestern player and coach, going to do a 5-year deal with Sparty. The school, of course, fired Jonathan Smith over the weekend after just 2 seasons, a 4-8 record this year. Although they did win their season finale against Maryland for their only Big Ten win of the season. But overall, over 2 years, just 9-15 overall, 4-14 in the Big Ten. And again, that just included just 1 Big Ten win this year. He's still due $30 million, by the way. So Michigan State's got to cough that up. Now, new athletic director, Jay Batt, he said yesterday, now this is the beginning of a new era, and Fitzgerald's going to restore the tradition of Michigan State. Now, Fitzgerald, he's still young and energized. He's only 50 years old. He's been out of the game for 3 years, 3 seasons, because he was the scapegoat and got fired for the hazing scandal at Northwestern. I remember that story hit just as I took over this Locked On Big Ten channel. It was one of the first stories we did. That was back in the summer of 2023. And Then he spent a total of 2 years embroiled in lawsuits for $130 million for wrongful termination against Michigan State. But he recently settled with the school, and now he's ready to coach again, and he got snapped up like that. His roots are at Northwestern and the Big Ten. They all run deep. He was an All-American linebacker there and a star player on the 95 Big Ten championship team that went to the Rose Bowl. Later, he became Northwestern's coach, led the team to 110 wins, 101 losses over 17 years. The win total, by the way, puts him at 14th all-time on the Big Ten. At Northwestern, not easy to do. So his Wildcat teams, they won the former Big Ten West Division in 2018 and 2020, and he led them to 5 bowl victories. Now, just before the hazing scandal hit, he went 4-20 during his last 2 years there. So I don't know if people were like, all right, we got the scandal. We're not winning football games. Had he still been winning, who knows? Maybe he would have survived that. Usually it's the case. But 4-20 over his final couple of years there, I think people were like, all right, let's just move on. And then he sued him for wrongful termination. So let's be honest. Michigan State's football program it's been a wreck. And Mark D'Antonio had it going pretty well there after his 13 years. He retired in 2020. Then Mel Tucker came in 2020, 2-5 during the COVID year, but jumped out 11-2. Everybody's like, whoa, Mel Tucker, check this out. 7-2 in the Big Ten, 11-2 overall. We like this. Let's give him a market-setting 10-year, $95 million deal. Gave him a contract extension in year 2. That was quick. Then the next year he went 5-7, 3-6 in the Big Ten. Now people are starting to get buyer's remorse. And then 2023 happened. Mel Tucker coached the first 2 games of the season, one of which was the Connor Stallion Central Michigan sideline game. Just sidebar there. And then he was suspended for alleged sexual misconduct. Defensive back coach Harlan Barnett took over as the interim coach. Mark D'Antonio came out of retirement to help out. And then Tucker was fired. And the school wanted to void the remaining $80 million on his contract. And he and Tucker and the school are still embroiled in an unlawful termination lawsuit. Then Jonathan Smith rolls in from Oregon State. He wanted to restore the football program. Didn't work out. Not at all. So now Pat Fitzgerald comes in. Going to have to start from scratch. Already losing some players. Wide receiver Nick Marsh, one of the few really, really good players on the team. He's just said he's hitting the transfer portal. 6'3", 203. He's going to get a lot of attention in that portal. He's going to have his pick. Portal officially opens January 2nd. Running back Mekhi Frazier, who was their leading rusher with just 520 yards, a couple touchdowns. He's out as well. I just looked ahead, by the way, at Michigan State's schedule for Fitzgerald next year. The 3 non-conference games are Toledo, Eastern Michigan, and Notre Dame. That's an interesting game. I'm not going to list all their conference games, but they're at Michigan next year. They have home dates with Illinois, Nebraska, Oregon, and Washington. So we'll see. A new era at Michigan State. Sparty fan, let me know what you think about that one. That wasn't the only coaching news in the Big Ten here this week. James Madison coach Bob Chesney is going to UCLA. Got a 5-year deal. And that's going to be finalized after he coaches in James Madison's Sun Belt Championship game. Now, UCLA, much different than the Lane Kiffin situation at LSU, where Lane wanted to coach Ole Miss through the playoffs, and Ole Miss says, no, you're not doing it. UCLA is cool to let Chesney coach here in his conference championship game. And if they make the playoffs as a group of 5 team, he can coach that too. James Madison went 11-1 this year. By the way, he took over for Curt Cignetti after he had success there and left and had more success in Indiana. So UCLA is hoping that lightning will strike twice and they get an up-and-coming coach, James Madison, and they can turn things around quickly. UCLA is just 8-16 since they joined the Big Ten. Meanwhile, Kentucky is targeting a couple of Big Ten offensive coordinators right now. Ohio State offensive coordinator Brian Hartline was said to be interviewing there tomorrow, but an ESPN report said that Oregon offensive coordinator Will Stein may be close to an actual deal to coach there. This could be a fast-moving story, so we'll keep an eye on it. Stein's a Kentucky native. He played at Louisville, but grew up a Kentucky fan. His parents both went to Kentucky. He went to a lot of Kentucky games as a kid. Kentucky fired Coach Mark Stoops after 13 seasons here a couple of days ago. So a lot of movement. We're going to keep an eye on all of it here, especially with the Penn State situation. I have more to say about it. I'm probably going to do another podcast on it tomorrow. So tell all your Nittany Lion fans, we're going to discuss it. We're going to try and figure out exactly what's going on there. That's strange to me. And then, obviously, as the week continues, we're going to preview Ohio State and Indiana for the Big Ten championship game. So we got a lot of that coming up as well. And I think Indiana matches up very favorably with Ohio State, much better than they did last year when they played. Coming up, we got our Tuesday tweets. It's going to be a lot of Ohio State and Indiana and Michigan, but we'll see if any that you sent me will make it. We'll put it in there. That's all coming up next with our Tuesday tweet segment as we continue right here on Locked On Big Ten. Game Time is the app you need to get tickets to anything. But the World Cup is coming to North America for the first time since 1994. We got 48 teams. It's going to be huge. So let's be honest here. Getting tickets, that could be the hardest part for some people. That's why you get the Game Time app. They're totally clutch here. They give fans the real advantage when it comes to snagging tickets. With Game Time, you can track price drops in real time. Get alerts when great seats open up and buy tickets the moment they hit the app. So it puts the power back in your hands and it makes going to the World Cup realistic instead of impossible. I like how you have the view of the seat of the ticket you're about to buy right there on your device. A couple of taps, boom, you got tickets. You're good to go. Take the guesswork out of buying World Cup tickets and every match, concert, or event with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use the code LOCKEDONCollege, all one word, for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, download the app, make an account, and use the code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go, Game Time. Thanks for checking us out here on Locked On Big Ten. All right, it is time for our Tuesday tweets. If you're on audio only, Spotify or Apple, no problem. We'll describe to you what's going on. We're going to put them on screen here and tell you what we have. Now, this is, if you're an Ohio State fan, you love this. If you're a Michigan fan, you're not gonna. I'm sure you saw that, and I could have picked from any number of tweets. This is from the Sporting News. This is Brutus the Buckeye crossing out an X in the snow with his feet over the M, the Michigan M in the end zone. And then he wrote the Ohio script, a dot of the I as well at the goal line. And then the picture below it is the Michigan grounds crew coming in and wiping it all away. Somebody said, hey, wipe that off. So for those that don't know, anywhere you go on campus at Ohio State, any word or street name or whatever that has the letter M, it's X'd out. And so he X'd it out here in the end zone. So anyway, it was a big event as Ohio State won. Here's from at Barstool Spartans, a picture of Jonathan Smith with the words fired over it. That's when that news came out. Sad for him. But ESPN putting out this tweet, breaking: Pat Fitzgerald has signed a deal to be the next Michigan State coach, and a picture of him in his Northwestern vest. His official introduction today, Tuesday, under breaking news. Also, here's from at Pete Thamel. Has got a picture of James Madison coach Bob Chesney. He is the target of UCLA, and he's going to be the new head coach with a 5-year deal after the Sun Belt Championship game. And again, they're going to let him coach in the playoff if he makes it. Here is Julian Sayin, 11 Warriors, tweeting this out. A picture of him, a video of him running in the snow in Ann Arbor, and Sayin for Heisman is what it says. He's on the short list, very short list. I probably the winner of the Ohio State Indiana game, either Sayin or Fernando Mendoza. one of those two. Here's a pretty cool picture if you're a Buckeye fan. This is AZ Buckeye. He says, frame this. And it's a snow-covered field in Ann Arbor with Ryan Day with the headsets on, looking out on the field, and former coach Urban Meyer, who was there for Fox Sports, walking by him. Looks like he gave him a little pat on the back, a little behind pat. Hey, let's go, coach. Either that or good, since there's snow on the ground. Maybe that was later. Maybe it was, hey, good job, coach. You beat Michigan. Here's from at Big Ten football. The matchup is set. Number 1, Ohio State versus number 2, Indiana. Any early predictions? It's got a montage of Ryan Day and Curt Cignetti and the Big Ten trophy. Julian Sain and Fernando Mendoza and Big Ten championship. 8 o'clock Eastern on Fox, 5 o'clock Pacific. Here's a video shot, a screenshot of Ryan Day with snow on his brim from the Buckeye Nut. Ohio State is the first team since 1975 to hold all its regular season opponents to under 17 points. That's pretty good. Florida did it in 1975. The reason? Well, here's a picture of Matt Patricia. You know Matt Patricia here with the beard. He's lost a little weight. He's got the Ohio State vest on, and he's got the cap on. It looks like a golfer. Official Ohio State tweet. 12 games, 84 points. That's 7 points per game. Best defensive coordinator in America, it says. Here is a picture of Curt Cignetti talking to Ryan Day. This is probably from last year's regular season game. This is from at 11 Warriors. The Buckeyes are 5.5-point favorites as they open up over Indiana in the Big Ten championship, as Ohio State looks to secure the top overall seed in the college football playoff. We'll see. Again, we'll preview that matchup a little closer later in the week. Here's a picture of Curt Cignetti from at Ben Stevens. Indiana ended its 2023 season, that was with Tom Allen, losing to Purdue. 5 days later, Curt Cignetti was hired. In 2 seasons since, the Hoosiers have won 23 of 25 total games. This year, 12-0 in the Big Ten, or 9-0 in the Big Ten, 12-0 overall. And the first time IU has won every game in a regular season in its history. And to change it up a little bit, here's from what at Barstool Ducks with a picture of Dante Moore. Dante Moore, after losing to Indiana, needed to win out with an injury-ridden team, and he showed up. Went 6-0 with 10 touchdowns. Get Dante to New York City. Want him in the Heisman chase as well. There you have it, our Tuesday tweets. What'd you think? Send one to me. I'll put it on next Tuesday. We do it every Tuesday as well. Certainly, if you haven't heard yet or seen the scroll on the bottom, in addition to our website, talkbig10.com, where all of our podcasts go, plus links for your favorite Big Ten school merchandise in time for the holidays. Also the note, as soon as the Big Ten championship game is over, we're going to go live. We're still going to be here every day in the meantime with our multiple podcasts every day. But Saturday, after that game, we will go live. So you get my real, raw, unfiltered reaction to the Big Ten championship game between Indiana and Ohio State. And I get yours too, with real live time text messaging as well. We look forward to all of that Saturday. Probably going to be about 11:30 p.m. Eastern, 8:30 Pacific. We'll go live as soon as the winning coach does the interview on the field. And we will take care of that. In the meantime, I hope to see you again tomorrow. Again, we're going to talk a little bit more about Penn State situation as well. Plus, we will power rank the Big Ten standings as we see them. All that coming up on tomorrow's program. Thanks for joining us today for Locked On Big Ten. I'm Craig Shemon. I'll see you next time.